I need to make sure that audio is working.
Yep, I see us.
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
us?
you.
I apologize for the ugliness of the stream right now, but Streamlabs went insane and crashed my entire computer. So I am not messing with it anymore.
Oh, you actually did more than I thought you were going to do. I thought you were just gonna.
Yeah,
Uh,
I thought it was just blackout screen.
yeah, I thought we were just gonna show the Zoom window, not the Zoom window over the overlay.
I
So
mean, I could do that too, but
no, no, this is fine. This is actually better. Um,
Alex rules. Just don't fucking touch it. Just nope.
I
yeah.
wasn't touching it before. It just like
Hell
it
with that.
just stopped working. Like it went no, and then when I tried to close it, my whole computer went oh
Yeah.
no.
All right. So where we left off, um,
Murder in the police station.
murder in the police station.
Yes. We were
Um,
saying goodbye to Bill.
saying goodbye to Bill. Almost beheaded Alice.
I
Um,
didn't.
you didn't, but
I
you then
spent a hero point, not two, that I would have
spent the
loved to
hero
have
point.
used
Gotcha.
somewhere
Yes.
else.
The Looking Glass Alice, not our Alice or Witch with a
No,
V
our Alice
Alice.
was the one who almost beheaded the Looking Glass.
Alice
Um,
number 4.
Yes.
and our Alice would 100% be willing to behead Alice Keiteler.
Yes. There's a lot
Oh,
of Alice on Alice violence in this game.
Or Team Alice.
There's a lot of copyright infringement. Alice on Alice crime, Morpheus on Morpheus crime.
It's
But
just it's just sad.
the important thing about the whole Looking Glass Gang incident was you did manage to free Erica. You managed to unbrainwash their Alice. Um, you murdered several of them, but you know they were bad. They deserved it. Again, this gets back to what's the murder count on for the various shows. Yeah, no, this show is definitely the winner. Um,
There was a lot of trauma murder in this arc.
there was a lot of fun because Erica was right royally fucked up
Again.
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 She ruined my new jacket.
That poor thing is gonna become a big bad at some point, and it's not gonna be her fault.
She
To
ruined her
Erica,
own life.
Nah, Erica's fine.
Yeah.
Erica's going to get recruited to join
I was
her.
gonna say, don't worry, we got Erica locked already.
Yeah,
Erica's fine.
that hasn't been announced yet, so hush.
It hasn't been announced. We just joked about it already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, joked about it, right?
So, um, so you rescued Erica, had the Dormouse captured. Tweedle, or sorry, Anvil and Tribal, I believe, were back in police custody. Uh, the Red Queen got away. Bill is dead.
Bill
Harper
is so
murdered.
dead.
Yeah. Harper murdered the Mad Hatter in the police interrogation room.
Harper
Which,
straight up executed the Mad
Yeah,
Hatter.
100%. Trauma murder, I told you.
I will say, so it doesn't go unsaid, that this was truly a low point in the entire series. Through the fact that we introduced a speedster to it and we let that bitch get away. So,
I mean,
Larry's been against a lot of murder, but Deuce here, there was one murder he wanted. I didn't get it.
also point out that saying you let her get away is perhaps a generous interpretation of what
Of what
happened.
happened?
There.
Yeah.
We had a Harper and an Alice and a crazy young lady who's just coming out of her emo phase. We let her get away.
No, at the point where Red Queen got away, you did not have a Harper. Harper
You
was
did not have
having
Harper was
problems.
unconscious
I,
because Erica had almost killed Harper. And you didn't have an Erica because after she almost killed Harper, Erica teleported back to the house.
Yep.
And Alice was getting yelled at for murder, so
No, not yet. Not at the point when the Red Queen got away. But
no, Alice was still getting a little jerk because I just killed.
Bill,
No,
The Mad
the
Hatter.
rabbit.
No, the White Rabbit, right?
Nah, judgment hadn't happened yet. He was still trying to help people. Larry was doing Larry things. He's walking
Yeah, I'm
slowly,
not
going, "All
sure
right,
that
you're
Larry
not
was
dead."
in the room when that happened.
Nope.
Yeah. But also, so really, the only one who could have maybe tried to follow the Red Queen would have been the Pudding Snake. And as fast as he is,
Wasn't he
is
also eating?
he was also eating.
Yes. He was busy.
I believe he was eating Bill.
Yes.
So, um, so you went back. You had some heart-to-heart trauma at the house, as several people wanted to talk to Alice, and then several people wanted to talk to Erica. Erica got magically roofied by Thomas Reimer.
Which was I still
It was a
can't believe
choice.
I can't believe Harper let him get away with that without at least attempting to murder him.
I mean, I think it's kind of one of those, look, I'm not okay with this, but there are so many things that I'll dealt with here. But Erica was well and truly in the throes of trauma.
Yeah.
I believe, as I put it, in the space of 6 months, Erica went from being a fairly bright, attractive high school junior who lived with her grandmother and then became a demonic pseudo vampire. The hero stopped her before she murdered someone for the first time, but since then she's been living with bloodlust. She went out looking for a cure for the bloodlust, made a deal with a temptation demon for an amulet that would control the bloodlust, and you still don't know what she gave Vathek in exchange for that amulet. Got the amulet, it let her control her bloodlust, and gave her the power to teleport. And then almost immediately was mind raped by the White Rabbit to become their new Cheshire Cat. And while she was their Cheshire Cat, while she didn't kill anyone, she maimed several people.
You forgot that she also found out that her grandmother had been lying to her for her whole life.
Well, yeah. Lying is perhaps a harsh take on it, because she actually is more or less okay with that. She knew that her grandmother worked for the government and that she couldn't talk about what it was she did. I mean, obviously there was a whole lot more going on there, but for the most part, she doesn't. She didn't have too much trauma about grandma lying to her because she understands that part of all of it.
Okay.
But yeah. So, then you decided that it was time to go talk to Mab. And you
Wow.
found
That skips
where-
about I don't know, a whole episode's worth of interpersonal drama.
Well, no, I was saying there was a whole lot of trauma and discussions and role play, and it was awesome. I loved it. It was an episode where I got to basically do nothing, which was amazing.
Those are always fun.
I loved it. I mean, I absolutely loved it. It just means I don't have a lot of notes on it because my adventure notes don't have a lot that happened on those for me.
Oh, I didn't take many notes on the whole. The team starts to argue amongst itself for an episode.
Yeah.
I do remember the discussion where Alice and Larry went outside to talk, and Larry told Alice, "Hey, look, we don't do this.
To which Alice's
This
response
isn't-
was,
This isn't
"It's not really
cool.
my fault." Yeah.
We're gonna try not to do this." And then they were like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And then Larry came inside, and Harper immediately went outside and said, "Sometimes you got to do that."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't forget Alice's response to Larry, which was "I don't really have a choice."
Although we've realized that you kind of do.
Yeah, it's just, she was like, look, buddy, if I want to swing the blade most efficiently, it craves blood.
Well, specifically.
Yeah. To which then also, I still loved, I repeat, I love that. The exact moment of, look, I'll try, but, and then Harper coming out with the responsive, like, yeah, I'm not saying it to their face, I understand, there's no reason there was a but. Sometimes you gotta be the one who can pull the trigger, you know?
Yep.
We do the killing so they don't have to.
So, but yes, there was a whole lot of role playing during that episode, which was awesome. Also, on your way to the caves, there were a couple of dreams, and
Fucking stupid ass dream.
The
Giving
narco
me
bus.
the most lore important one with the character who doesn't know any of them.
yep.
So of course she's just kind of like, I had a weird dream, but okay. And everyone's like, huh, that's kind of weird. And then, you know, went to the director and everyone's like, hey.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. But yeah, so Alice had a dream about Team Out
Lore.
and Miles and the Hell Queen, and Carrie had a dream. I think it was Carrie about someone being mauled at a hotel, which you drove past that hotel on your way to go talk to Mab, but you know, kind of wisely decided that, yeah, a haunted hotel is an issue, but the Queen of the Uncanny trying to restructure reality might be more important.
Just slightly.
So yeah, then you went into the caves and you found Nab, and you basically tried to do a carrot and stick approach with Mab for why we'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't cast us into an endless winter.
Yeah.
And that all went great. Nothing major happened there.
Nope, it was fine.
Just a quick discussion.
I mean, Harper lost a hand.
I was about to make a pun. I mean, I think we handled it like very handy.
Yeah, yeah.
We're very handy with our resources, you know. But
Oh, get a grip on your
Orpheus
jokes.
Orpheus willingly made a very bad deal.
Yes.
Nah, we don't need the finger pointing either.
now that he's not here, I'm sad because I wanted to mention it was very funny with Alice. Everyone gained or lost respect in that conversation with Mab, based off because she was like, "How can you handle Faye?" Marcus lost the little bit he had because she was annoyed with the whole like, dude, you cannot pussyfoot your way around this. Make a choice and stand by it. Huh?
Mab lost respect for him too.
Yeah, no.
Say Marcus's interaction was the only place where you guys actually made it harder on yourselves for what Mab was ultimately going to decide to do.
Alice was judging everyone.
Yep.
Which is also why she respects Harper the most.
Because Harper gave up her hand.
Because Harper went, I'm not gonna go for a favor because I don't like that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm not gonna do nothing. So here.
Say, memory serves though. So Alice owes a favor. Orpheus owes a favor and a period of service, which he didn't bother to
specify.
negotiate. Sure, that won't be an issue.
He knew what he was doing.
He did. Larry
Wait.
basically
Didn't
Go ahead.
he not only negotiate, not only give up a period of service, but he spoke for his wife as well?
sure did.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a go over well.
I
I cannot
realized
wait for the episode where you have to argue with yourself about that.
No, I don't, because that won't happen. I didn't articulate it very well as me, but the idea is basically they love and trust each other. If the situation were reversed, she would be just as comfortable speaking for him, and she would say the exact same thing. Yes, I speak for my husband.
In fairness, she also did apparently make an agreement to do a period of service with Persephone. So,
Yeah.
um, all right, but so yeah, Orpheus did that. Alice owes a favor. Harper gave up her hand and didn't give Mab quackers, which probably also the right choice.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely. Harper's like, I know you understand how much I want to get rid of this piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
However, my
The
mission
fact that you're willing to take it.
the sole reason that I am still alive is to keep all of the sad, innocent people on this planet safe. And giving the Unseelie Queen this demon that the most powerful occult organization that I'm aware of could not get rid of. Does not seem like a good idea. And I'm gonna go with no.
I mean, she was just trying to take him off your hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
So instead, she took off one of your hands.
Yeah.
Larry, I believe, just said no.
I think you got enough stuff. We're done here.
Larry said, I think you've got enough shit. Thanks.
Yeah, stop asking for more shit. You're fine.
But Larry did at least be direct about it, so that didn't end up costing you anything with Mab. And you gave Mab the Dormouse, who turned out to actually be Puck.
Hadn't he kind of sort of forgotten that he was Puck?
He had absolutely forgotten.
He's like, oh, what? Huh?
Well, no, it was. Oh, what? Oh, shit.
Yes. You also found that the child who'd been given to the Unseelie to summon Catherine the Red was still with Mab.
Yep.
And I believe Orpheus unilaterally decided that the child was better off staying with Mab.
I did not unilaterally. I did look to the group. There wasn't a firm answer. We needed a firm answer because Mab.
And there was also a young boy who Mab gave the choice to, and the boy was like, fuck that, I'm staying with you.
He won't regret that choice.
Probably not, actually. There won't be enough human left of him for him to ever be able to regret that choice.
Fair enough.
Have you ever read or seen the TV adaptation of Joe Hill's Nosferatu?
No.
It's fantastic, but it does involve a group of children who are kidnapped by this entity, taken away to Christmasland, where they become absolutely inhuman, soulless little monsters. And the worst part of it is that after a relatively short time, they absolutely don't mind. And that's probably what's going to happen to this kid.
Yay.
But
I'm so happy for him.
I mean, he's happy.
Oh, no.
But
the
that
other
was
one,
one
okay.
that I didn't have a means of saving.
No. That was one of those, you're going to just have to chalk that one up as a unfortunate loss. But you did get all of the babies back.
Yes.
Except for the one ladies.
Well, no, that's the one we were talking about. Except for the child who was from a seriously fucked up family, who was sacrificed by her mother.
Well, I thought she was different. I thought you guys were talking about the other one who was like the animal guy, kid who like lived, who wanted to stay with Mab.
We were
No,
talking
that's
about both of them.
yeah.
Okay.
But then all of the actual infants
Yeah.
you did rescue.
And confused
say,
the shit out of the maternity ward at the local hospital.
Right, because Erica did the teleporting them to the
Yep,
hospital.
they just kept popping up on the desk every time a nurse turned around.
Yeah, more or less.
When you're done with your mental breakdown, take this infant to the hospital. What? Just do it. Welcome to being a hero.
Yep. All right, so I believe that is it for the Through the Looking Glass. Unless I'm forgetting something.
I think
Nope.
it's it.
A lot of discussion about Larry's driving, but we'll move on from that.
A lot of discussion about Larry driving. People were not happy with how careful Larry was about driving up and down the mountain.
But there
It
were
was
still
so
people that took
dumb.
naps. Well, if there were people that took naps in the van, they felt that safe. Even Harper
No,
tried to take
it's
30 weeks
called-
back here.
We felt that bored because it was taking you that fucking long. And there was absolutely no reason for it because, like, half of the people in the van are immortal. So
I
if
was
you
doing it for
wreck,
the other
it's
half.
fine.
Yeah, the hangout covers it.
Yeah.
And then we go to Mystery Manor, and we had our whole Scooby Doo adventure.
Yes. Arc 5.5.
Arc 5.5.
Scooby-Doo.
Which everything turned out to be basically a big insurance scam, except for the fact that the supervillains who were supposed to scare everyone out of the manor accidentally actually summoned Cthulhu.
Because fucking idiots.
I mean, in fairness, it was fucking idiots, and we are on one of the 5 most magical places on all of Earth Prime. But
So what did we learn?
We learned that Silver Sorcerer, Doughboy, Octoman, Hocus Pocus, and Blowfish are dumb. What we learned.
Some of them were dumb. Some of them are now food.
Well, Blowfish. Blowfish is dead. He got eaten.
Yeah.
Blowfish is dead. He got eaten by the Jabberwock. I thought
Foodie's
someone
gonna
else
be
killed
pissed.
him.
The only one. So I have Silver Sorcerer was captured, Octoman was captured, Hocus Pocus was captured, Blowfish was eaten, and Doughboy escaped.
Oh, right. It was Octoman was not killed. He just went down in the first round of combat.
He got exploded. It.
But yeah. And I mean, that was kind of a fun little diversion. Nothing massive plot relevant happened involving the manor.
It was just a fun little side quest.
It was a fun little side quest.
And it
partly
was-
because
It was the first time that Harper ever got to use her new favorite, I lied once.
yeah. And Carrie got to throw her money around again. Boy, howdy did Carrie get to throw her money around.
She got to be a British Karen.
Yeah.
And be a British Karen.
We saved some hikers in a cave.
You did save some hikers.
I think it's important with all the murder occasionally mention we save somebody here.
We do save people every now and then.
Every now and then.
I just got thrown
As long
out
as
there.
it isn't too inconvenient. And then we had our kind of wrap up denouement as you guys went back to New Orleans. And along the way, Harper got a very important piece of news from Vathek,
Woo!
where you found out that Dusk House had been obliterated by Team Alice, Anthony Miles, and a literal army of zombies. this is about the time that Alice suddenly realized that their dream might actually be relevant. As you found out that there was, that those books are now in the possession of those two, thanks to the Hell Queen. You discovered that Miles and Team Elise also had a hourglass that apparently counts down to the apocalypse.
The Doom Clock.
The Doom Clock. And a keystone that could open a gateway into Hades. You also found out that one of their goons pawned off a dagger that was taken from Dusk House, which, Harper was totally fine with.
Yep, that was, yep.
I mean, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like it was her mentor's dagger or something.
Yep,
right, no.
That's fine. That's fine. Nobody got or anything.
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
He did in fact get eaten.
You fed him to the devil.
Sure did.
I got high as fuck off that.
But you did let the other two people who were fucking in his room out, so,
Yeah.
You also discovered that something is going on involving Apocalypsette and her music that is being distributed around New Orleans, possibly under the direction of Miles. You discovered that Alice is actually still maintaining a controlling interest in the Théâtre du Vampire.
Because of course she is.
Because of course she is. And was willing to teleport you guys to where Miles had been, but you managed to figure it out before she was able to finish her ritual, and she was like, fine, go.
Yes, because Harper's like, nah, I'm not sitting around here waiting for this witch. I was like, Alice, with me, we're going.
I've never, Wiki, I have never heard witch pronounced with a B before.
It's normally silent.
Yeah. And then you followed the trail to where Miles and Team Elise had used the gateway, found an absolute massacre of Miles's acolytes, who had apparently killed themselves after being whipped up into a frenzy, which apparently was enough to power the keystone. You fortunately had a magical flower from praying to Persephone's mom, so
I prayed real good.
You prayed real good. So you guys did not have to commit mass murder to reopen the gate.
I mean,
go us.
Go team.
Yay.
I believe you also remembered some sort of disturbing fact about that every one of Miles' followers who
I did.
Might be powering something.
Because I remember way back in the beginning, Micah was the one who figured out, because I literally had Micah have to yell, stop killing them, it's making him happy, which means something's wrong.
Right. Yep. I mean, it was really a win-win from Miles' point of view.
I know.
I've got an army of super-powered followers who will do whatever I tell them to, and if they die, I get stronger. So, win-win. But then
oh boy, is Harper gonna kill that guy? I said, oh boy, is Harper gonna kill that guy?
She is certainly gonna try.
Orpheus also did his best to try and least inconvenience Alice and piss her off as little as possible, even though the rest of the team just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. I don't think Alice actually had any issues with Alice.
Doesn't know her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she literally didn't give a fuck.
But so you guys went to Hades.
Sure did.
And when you got to Hades,
everything was happily ever after.
Everything was happily. Orpheus found himself back in his own body, not his wife's. and you got
Orpheus
there.
found himself.
Orpheus found himself. And Eurydice's first words to her husband were,
Get
"You're
out.
not supposed to be here."
Her first words.
And his
Leave.
first words are, "I know, but."
And that was season 1.
And I already have a to-do list for season 2.
Oh, right. I remember the first thing I think I was to say was put a sword to Orpheus's neck.
Because it's a man you don't know.
Because Alice stepped through a portal and first thing she sees is a man she doesn't know and hears a woman say, "You shouldn't be here."
Not
no,
a
no,
woman.
no. You don't hear a woman say that. You heard Orpheus
Orpheus say that.
from your perspective.
Fair. So yeah, correction. My friend just said that this man shouldn't be here. So, not
Right.
friend, acquaintance. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna kill him.
I mean, you could try.
I mean, she's not even gonna actually go for the kill, but it is gonna be sword to the neck with the what the fuck.
So,
Mommy's a bad influence on you, Alice. You need to stop.
so that was our season. Do we have questions that you guys have been begging to know the answers to? That. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention in the recap was after everything involving the Alice and Golden Coins and Mystery Vampire. The Night Watch has not been seen back in New Orleans since then. They moved on to their next city because they're kind of a nomadic group of superheroes. So
We done brought too much
Sure.
heat.
I have a question that has been boiling within me for most of the season, and
Okay.
I'm hoping I can finally get it answered.
hit me.
Why did Orpheus and Eurydice get split up, and why haven't I seen her until? I'm sorry, I couldn't even finish it without laughing.
Yeah.
Sure,
mean-
I'm gonna get an answer to that question before next season.
I mean, the real answer, of course, is you had to miss a session unexpectedly, and I tried to figure out a way to write you off stage before
That's
we
true.
got to starting putting everyone on follow. But I then came up with plot behind it. So, but I will freely admit that the whole reason that you got yanked into Hades was because
What?
I was like, shit, I need a way to have him off stage. Okay. And then the idea of what would happen if, while they were down there,
Things happen.
and then things happen.
Ooh, I've got a question. You still might not be able to answer it. A lot of my questions are kind of related to what's going to start off season 2.
Sure.
But the idea of, I mean, I'm gonna actually, I know you're not gonna answer it, but I'll still ask it. Is the hunch, is the guess that the sand hourglass is a dowsing rod of getting closer to the apocalypse, right?
Yes, I can tell you that much.
Okay.
The reason they have the hourglass with them is because it will help guide them to whatever it is they are looking for in Hades.
Cool.
I'm not going to be any more specific about that because you may or may not be right about what it is they're looking for. But
That's fine.
But yes, that is the reason they wanted the hourglass.
Yay! I guess something right.
Yep. Oh, you guys guessed a lot of things through the course of the season, right?
We just guessed about equally as much wrong that like we don't trust ourselves.
I mean, that's fair. Other questions, thoughts, opinions?
Calvin's got a question.
Ooh, that's a good question from Calvin. So, win with dice. Something I'm always curious about during the ends of seasons: how much has your character changed from the original concept until the end of the season as you were playing them? I'm gonna start with Aunt Puppy because she's been sitting there quiet for most of this recap, and I want her.
Wait, repeat the question.
Carrie hasn't changed really all that much. Because as I formulated her for the show, I formulated her for my book, and so with that came adding in personality traits and things like that from that portion as I was writing it while coinciding with playing. So she kind of followed in a storyline I would have expected her to follow in. So she didn't change too terribly much. My other characters in other shows did change a lot as the shows progressed, but this one stayed pretty true to kind of what I thought she would be and where I thought she would go. So,
I mean,
yeah.
she's at least asking people where they take their blood now. The
Not
core's still
blinded by
there.
science anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the core's
She's,
still there. It's just
She finally got a dictionary that had consent in it.
Yeah, she was not blinded by the science and the ambition of opening a portal to bring her boyfriend back. But
Well, mostly it's the university's IRB team has been having long conversations with her.
yeah,
you know who has changed a lot though. All the kids. The drones have gone through some legit character growth.
the girls have gone through shit. They
Like,
haven't gone through some shit.
In part 1, they were Radio Shack. Part Raid
Yeah,
6.
Marsha got replaced once. Who did you throw? I forget. You threw somebody.
I think it was Jam.
Well, I think it was Jan into the tunnel.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then I used one as a destructive bomb for somebody towards the end. I think it was Peter. Because fucking hated Peter. So Peter. He was the one I'm very willing to sacrifice. But yeah, so I think Jan, Marsha, and Peter are on 2.0 versions of themselves. But I think the rest of them are still... I identified with Jan as a character, so Jan will always be my girl. So
Well, I personally can't wait until Tui becomes sentient
Tui has not made his appearance.
and
Yeah.
decides that he's had enough of your shit.
So Tui has now read 2 full magical, very high level books. One from the book that I wrote, part of what helped blow up my lab and cause her accident. But yeah, Tui, so now he's read the Book of the Mind, and he has now read the book to open the portal to Hades. So
yeah. I'm sure
Okay,
that's fine.
so can I throw in something that I want to point out that it's not a question, but
The book isn't actually a portal to Hades.
Yes.
well, yeah, but whatever that turns out once he gets now that he's got
The crazy
all
book.
the data.
It's the crazy book.
Yeah.
It's the Book of
Yeah,
Summoning Cthulhu.
Yeah, so he's now read a book that is what gave Carrie her powers and also took away her legs and
the Book of Unknowable Knowledge.
yeah, so I feel like Tui may end up becoming one of Carrie's big complications because I feel like he's gonna call her master a lot less.
Yeah, I can't.
Look, all I'm saying is that Tui may end up replacing Anthony Miles as the big bad of the series.
Can you open the door, Hal?
I can't do that.
I'm sorry, Terry. I can't do that.
I'm sorry, what? I personally am looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. So
I, for one, welcome our robotic overlords.
a robotic wizard overlords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. The fart magic won't even work on him because he doesn't have bowels.
Yeah.
Oh!
He does have gaskets though.
Ah?
Does he have olfactory sensors?
No.
No.
I'm sure he's got some pneumatics in there somewhere.
But yeah, Carrie stayed the same, but all of her robots have changed. So cool.
Kids
Cool.
grow so darn fast. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
totally fine.
I mean, Jimmy became a completely different person, so.
What about your characters, Jimmy?
Oh crap! I didn't hear Jimmy. I heard Jimmy, so I was so confused. I'm like, who the fuck was Jimmy?
Jimmy's been with us this whole time. Where the fuck were you?
He's literally
You weren't
he's
just gonna
literally right
dismiss
behind
Jimmy
you.
like that.
What? I
The
got a
hell is
wall
wrong with
behind
you?
me.
Wasn't for Jimmy, we would have been dead like session 3.
Anyway, sorry. I'm doing great, guys. So, Micah didn't exactly turn out how I planned, but I kind of love how it worked in the end. Like, Micah was always meant to be the, collected, smart one. I don't think I expected Micah to become the voice of reason completely, aside from Larry, and then also become the how have I ended up having to like care for two of these
Why
idiots
is
now?
this my life?
What? I don't know when I adopted these people, but okay. On the other hand, I kind of adore it because it is funny watching Micah become more and more exasperated as the person who played Micah. So I'm sitting here laughing at all the chaos, and then I have my 4 characters sitting there going, "Oh my god, I'm gonna have so much more work because of all this." So that has been a ton of fun. Um, as for Alice, Alice did kind of turn out how I imagined for the beginning. I was like, yeah, this is pretty right. I think the only thing about Alice that I'm sad about was that her temper never really got to be shown. But that's partially because her temper wasn't like her temper flared a little at a few points, but like a lot of the temper how it was written was more over the minor things than the big things. So I'm just kind of sad that there was never enough like a downtime period where we could watch Alice just get increasingly mad over like people not serving tea right in a like like in like a diner or something. Um, but I do love the
Now,
whole like
that's
huh,
got to be one of the quirks of Orpheus and Eurydice. They can't do technology at all, but they discovered that microwaving the water for their tea is much more efficient.
no, but I do think the the one thing that I didn't expect but I am glad is the sense of like the whole thing that was like oh learning how to control the blood first of the blade um and that having to now be a part of her character of having to focus on not killing people, something that she hadn't focused on. I wasn't expecting that when I started, but it just kind of happened. um Peek behind the curtain here a little. um the whole scene with Larry when the sword was the reason why it kills, that was kind of spitballed and my father went along with it. We hadn't discussed the sword having a bloodlust, but we just went with it and it fit really well. uh I don't advocate for this, by the way. Please normally talk things out with your GM. um I was just spitballing an idea, and he took the like metaphorical into a more of a literal, and I went, "Oh, that's cool." The benefit is it's my father, so it works pretty well. We know each other. uh, but yeah, characters both changed a bit, and I'm glad with both because it's like it felt like it was a slow progression of character growth, and I liked it.
Wiki.
uh, Harper's pretty much exactly what Harper was always intended to be. I
Just
mean,
2 pounds lighter.
how big do you think her hand is?
A lot of calluses.
Literally 1 pound.
Apparently, a pound of flesh.
The flesh.
Yes.
Well, the hand might not be a pound. It's just the flesh on the hand is
I
a
was
pound.
saying that's the thing. That means the bones are not included in that pound.
Does
Yeah.
the muscle count as flesh,
Yes.
or is it
Mus-
just the skin? Okay.
Um, no, Harper is pretty much exactly the character that I had in mind when I created Harper. I mean, there has been character growth as the story progressed, but it's all organic to the character as she was intended. So I don't think that conceptually she has changed at all. She's still the character as intended. Um, and I am excited to see where that goes because there are so Harper herself is very weirded out about the whole becoming a mentor and sort of sort of replacing, sort of stepping up to replace and take the place of the people who sort of saved her. Um, so she's a little bit like weirded out by the whole circular nature of this life that she leads. But again, that kind of thing was sort of always intended when I created the character. So
Okay. Brandon.
Not too much of a change, although there was one in the personality. I kind of intended them both to be a lot hornier and just pick up everyone, and then I kind of very quickly realized I'm already playing Portal, and so what ended up happening is the wholeness knob turned up a whole lot, and that they were just we are thousands of years old. We know there's no need for panic, and you know, all that kind of, and nothing is the end of the world, except the end of the world.
I mean,
Um,
literally the apocalypse, but
yeah, and so just kind of very much um, being the ones who are able to process the trauma in a healthy and effective way, and just being a really healthy couple, and that kind of became the linchpin of them.
okay. And Deuce.
Oh, what smart, elegant answer am I going to give to this? Now, let's be honest. Um, really, I'll say from the initial start, thank you to Aaron and everyone here in the cast because the idea of playing a character who is somewhat antagonistic to the party in battle is a dangerous thing to play. And I appreciate all of you going, nah, we trust you enough not to be a complete jerk about it. So appreciate that. But he's definitely changed from what I thought because my initial thought is somebody who wants to do good but is basically given an atomic bomb. So how do you do good when you've got this terrible thing that you can use, and him trying to figure that out? Uh, Larry, from the bawling mess he was at the start, definitely hardened up a little bit. But instead of him focusing on how to use the atom bomb, he seemed more like he tried to focus on how he can do it without it, which was not what I expected for him to basically be Joe Human trying to keep up with Harper and the professor and Alice and Orpheus and Micah or Muse, however you. But all these very powerful people and him just kind of being a priest. So it was not where I expected him to go, but it was a nice little change to become the person who's going to rely more on being a good person than being a powerful person.
I will say that as a GM, Larry ended up being the biggest surprise for me. Like, I expected more of that. Okay, let's watch him struggle with this conflict, and you know, watching you go through, an entire season of how little can I use my superpowers, was really interesting and really fun. I really enjoyed it. So
He's a fun dude to play in that regard. But as I said, we have a lot of immortals. He doesn't know he's immortal either, so for him, he was playing for keeps.
yeah, that's true. He doesn't know he's immortal, does he?
Oh,
All right. And Alex isn't here, so we can't ask him. Um, do we have any other questions? Otherwise, it is just about 10 o'clock, so this would be a good place to stick a pin in it for a season. But if there's any other burning questions, I'm happy to tell you that I can't answer them before we go.
Who's ready for a possible mini-series offshoot?
I was going to ask if you guys wanted to share that.
Maybe for those of you who are fans of this, keep a lookout. There might be a mini-series coming of a different time, a different place. You know, things happen. Spoilers?
To give a little less vague, we may be looking at doing a spin-off with Harper taking her army of strays and trying to figure out what to do now that there is no Dusk House, but the mission remains. So, and I might actually get to play in it. So, because I've spent an entire season torturing Erica Vance. Now I need to get inside her. One of these days, I'll actually get to play a game set in the Earth Prime universe without just playing someone who I used as an NPC as my character. I guess that's not fair because I did get to play Amber, but
I mean, you could also stop making NPCs interesting. I
guess I could. I don't even get to take credit for Max Mars though. I didn't create Max. Erica created, but yeah. My players know this, but the audience may not. This was an interesting experiment for me because this was the first time I've run more than just a few one-offs here and there, but a full campaign that wasn't following what someone else had written. This was, I drew liberally from published Green Ronin stuff, including the Supernatural Handbook and Rogues Gallery and Threat Report, but this campaign was the first time that I started at before session 1 with a outline of here's what I want to get through, and it changed, but
point of order. That past tense, I believe, is inappropriate. The season may be over, but the season ended on a cliffhanger with the campaign incomplete.
Correct.
The campaign is still going.
The campaign is still going. You're correct. But
in much stronger ways than, say, like any of the others that kind of have a bit of finality at their seasons.
No. This is definitely a cliffhanger. But I still have the other half of the season, or the campaign, the season 2. I do still have that outlined and ready to go.
We just haven't actually played through those evil plans yet.
No. And I'm sure that by the time we're done, they will resemble... What we end up playing will end up resembling my notes about as much as the first half of the season did. Or the first season did. But I do still have an entire plan, and it isn't using, someone else's published campaign notes or adventure path or anything like that, because City of Destiny was me using the Emerald City Knights campaign, and I've done, lots of like Pathfinder APs, but I've never done more than just hey, here's a one-off or a couple of sessions where I had something all mapped out like that. So
mostly it's just if you even think of trying to call that the campaign.
All right, anything else?
Not on my end.
So we're ready to sing Happy Birthday to Wiki.
I want to remind everyone that I am now in control of the stream and the Zoom call.
We'll just say happy birthday, Wiki.
Happy birthday, Wiki.
All right. Anyone else have any other messages before we sign off?
Come back for the next stuff.
Yeah. We've got our one-shot. We're moving into spooky season and then into the holidays. There's going to be some Cthulhu Awakens here on the stream coming up soon. A little bit more Freedom League Dark before they're done. And our one-shot season is shaping up to be pretty damn cool, if I do say so myself. When we get around to the new year, we're going to go back to Emerald City for season 2 of City of Destiny. There may be some face changes from where that cast ended the first season, but it will still essentially feel the same. And I just want to say thank you to my players, because this has been a ton of fun. And I've really enjoyed getting to lean into the horrific and the terrible and making people sad. So.
I'm gonna shoot back at you with the thank you for our lovely GM, because this awesome story wouldn't have been possible without him.
I mean,
He's all right.
He's my father. I have to praise him a little high.
I'm
you
just
know,
going
when
to say
you talk
for
about
the
it, it kind of defeats the purpose of.
I'm kidding.
for the audience at home, there have been so many weeks all I came on for was Aaron's sweet, serene smile at the start of every session, and boy, did I get it. See, there it is. He
No.
wants to be bashful, but it's there. His heart's thumping. He's got a little bit of a blush on his cheeks. He's adorable, isn't he, folks?
As the
God.
honest though, as much as I, like, you know, as much as there's like the joke of like, oh, that's just I'm his child. Of course I'm here. I wouldn't keep throwing myself at my father, being like, hey, I have the special seat, right? If I didn't enjoy playing with him, which I do use a lot.
Especially at Origins.
Especially at Origins. If you saw us at Origins, you knew this.
Yeah.
I have the ability to cheat my way into my father's games, and I use it all the time because my father is good at running games, and I enjoy playing in them.
But you won't get to do it next year because you'll be running games at the same time.
I have a question.
Uh huh.
Why am I the only one that takes notes?
Because I got a notebook at the like very end, and I didn't want to put the first pages of the notebook at the end of a session of a campaign, so I was gonna save it for session 2 or for season 2.
Aunt Puppy takes notes.
Because I very clearly said before we went online that starting with the next campaign, I'm gonna begin taking notes.
My
I
notebook
prefer
is
my
also
memories
buried.
to be the only notes I've got, like trauma etched into my brain of terrible things you can't forget.
I'm gonna say that if anyone, if I ever give anyone GM access to this table in Roll20, you will get to see just how many notes I take.
I clearly meant why am I the only player that takes notes?
But no, honestly, I think that with what I have saved in Roll20, if I were to export the whole thing, someone else could run this campaign. Could run this first half of the season with as much prep as you would get from reading, a published adventure, or more. Of course, that's also because I've got a proposal into Green Ronin to turn the first arc into a published adventure, but we'll see what happens with that. So
Notes are fun. Take notes.
yes. Alrighty, well, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you around the network, and be careful out there and make sure that you don't run into something in the dark. Bye.